You can increase your productivity by 5 or 10 times overnight by putting the 3 methods into action that I'm going to give you in my free course. So go download it right now by clicking the link just below here. In this video, I'm going to give you the answer to what is the meaning of life. And my name is Claus, and don't forget to subscribe to this video and go download our free course by clicking the link just below here. So what's the meaning of life? Well, it's very simple. What does meaning mean? What does that word mean? So when I'm posing the question, what is the meaning of life itself? Then let's just look at what we're saying, because what's the meaning of anything? What's the meaning of a knife? It is so that I can cut my bread. What is the meaning of that? Well, so I can eat the bread. What's the meaning of eating that bread? It's function all the time, right? The meaning is so I can get full. What's the meaning of being full? It's that I will survive and I'll feel good. What's the meaning of feeling good? It's so that I can be nice to my kids. What's the meaning of that? So they can be adults. It's all about living and survival. What is survival? Why do we survive? Or what do we do when we survive? We live. What is life? It's existence. So everything, if you look around, every single thing is either decomposing, turning into something else that can then become life again, like plants and animals and human beings. It's just life. What does everything do? They preserve life. Whatever we do, it's focused on that. So is love focused on that? Yes, love for each other. We're pack animals. Without love, we would disintegrate. Everyone would just be out for themselves and everything would be absolute chaos. If we're in a group, like let's say 10,000 years ago in a little group in nature, we were just totally desolate. If you placed on by yourself in nature, you would die. We're pack animals. The only advantage we have is each other. So that's why love is also connected to survival. And human beings can generate poetry and all kinds of amazing abstractions and stories and all kinds of stuff, right? But it's all out of life. It's all reproductive behavior. We want to feel good. Why do we want to feel good? Because in our bodies, feeling good is connected to survival. It's connected to all the things that, reproduction, wanting to live, caring for each other, it's all down to the same thing. What is the same thing? Survival. What is it? It's life, sustaining life, building life. Everything does that. Everything is about that. So when I'm asking you, then what's the meaning of the end result of everything? I don't know why this is. I don't know why existence is. I don't know why things exist, but I can just see that everything wants to exist, right? Is working to exist. So what's the meaning of life is like saying, what's the meaning of meaning? Because the only meaning there is to anything, the only productive end result to everything is just sustaining life or reproducing life. Life. So it does not make sense. The sentence, what is the meaning of life? If everything points to life, then what is the life of the life? What is the meaning of meaning? It does not make sense. And that's why we cannot answer it. So, but isn't there a higher meaning? Okay, let's just entertain the thought that there's a higher meaning that we don't know about, that we can only guess. We can create all kinds of abstractions and stories about what's the meaning. It's God. It's loving God. It's loving this entity that we feel or imagine is, but then what's the meaning of that, right? What's the meaning of that meaning? What's the meaning of God? Why is it there? Why is he, she there? Right? What's the meaning of life? It's love. Then what is the meaning of love? It is to you can't. It's over. So the second you go away from that very practical, functional, productive way of seeing meaning means that it's there for some reason. So what is the reason of that? And what is the reason of that? You always end up in the same place. It's just, so what are we really asking here? What is the meaning of life? So that's the meaning of life. Life. It is. That's what you got. All right? But what we're really doing is we're asking for something existential. We're asking for a reason, a function. Why am I here? There has to be a meaning that goes beyond just my life. So I can feel like I'm not alone. So I can feel like there's a reason for my existence, that I mean something. But the second you try to look for that outside of this, outside of the group, because that's why you're there. That's the meaning. If meaning is survival deep down in your body, then whenever you are contributing to the group, whenever you are being someone who can contribute to the group, to your loved ones, to people around you, that is literally the meaning of life. I hope you get my train of thought here. Because if survival is that, you're a pack animal. Why is fulfillment? Whenever you ask people about it, how do you get fulfilled? I feel, what is fulfillment? It is that. It's other people. It's contributing to them. Why is that so meaningful? Because it's life. It's the way you survive. So it triggers all kinds of buttons inside of you. Nobody, I tell you, nobody in a game of football who's playing, we're on a team, we're trying to achieve something, and we're doing all of this, and it's kick the ball to him. I try to be a functional member of this group who's trying to do something very specific, which is a mini version of life. Nobody in that group of people who's playing is talking about the meaning of life. So if I came onto the playing field and I said to somebody, hey, what's the meaning of life? You would go, what are you talking about? Right? Because it's here. And it's so intense in a team sport, right? Because it's like we set it up so we really feel that we're a group, we're a pack of people here, we're trying to achieve a goal. And the same thing goes for everyday life. And the second that we feel that we don't contribute because we feel like victims, we feel weak, we feel like we cannot achieve anything, we feel powerless. What is all that? Weak, powerless, can't achieve, then all those things means that you cannot contribute. It's not about how much money you have. That helps. It really does. You can put your parents in the best hospitals. You can contribute to people like that, right? You got money. You can just throw it out. So we got a problem there. We'll fix it with money. That's cool. But what it really comes down to is your emotional state. If you're in a powerful state, if you can do stuff for people because you're happy, because you can be loving, you can be caring, because you're over yourself, right? Or you don't feel weak. You don't feel like there's something wrong with you. You don't feel all these things, and all those things makes you anti-life, makes you anti-meaning. And that's why it hurts so bad. Because the more you feel like a victim, the more you feel sadness, the more you feel all those things on a regular, consistent basis, year after year, powerlessness, right? The inability to influence your own life situation, that makes people really depressed. And the reason why is because we cannot contribute in that state. That's why we got this gray zone between achievement and giving and loving and all these things, that it really is about figuring out a place where you can be a really cool team member, a pack animal, a functional pack animal, right? So when we ask, what's the meaning of life? We always do it on the backside, when we're weak or feel weak, when we don't feel like we're in a game of football, when we're not playing, when we're not power players in the game of life, when we feel weak, depressed, we start asking those questions. What's the meaning of life? And what that is an urge to be meaningful. You're outside the playing field, you feel weak, you feel like you can't contribute, and you look for some way out of that feeling of no meaning, right? Of no life, of being drawn towards death, basically, because that's what those emotions do if we stay there. So that's where it comes from, and that's the answer. The reason why you ask that question is the answer. What's the meaning of life? Well, it is to contribute. And right now, you don't feel like you can, so you start asking those questions. But what we really should be asking is, how do I get out of this, right? How do I tap into, 1,000 answers comes along once you start moving and start wanting to build another life than the one you're in. Once you start wanting to feel a different way. Once you want to start being able to get out of the situation that you find dissatisfactory, right? And that's all about basically giving. It's all about contributing to the ones you love, of being a really cool, really productive, really whatever. On whatever level. You can be the guy who's the emotional support of everyone. You can be the woman who's the achiever, who, brings in the food, or you can be the whatever it is. But you need that, and you need to be in an emotional state on a regular basis, if you don't want to be depressed, where you really feel that you have some influence over your life, where you can create some results in the areas where you feel it's important. Otherwise, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to ask, what's the meaning anyway? What's the point? What's the meaning of life? Why do we blah, 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 right? Hope this makes sense to you, because this is a kind of a story, an explanation to these things, to this existential hole inside of us. So please listen to this video again and again until you start, washing away that notion that life is meaningless and da-da-da and all of that. That's a deep pit we can go further into, and it won't bring us to the place we want to be. So subscribe to this channel, go download the free course, and I really hope to see you in the next video.